Oh my God, what happened? What happened? Hey Cats fans, it's Ben Reeve here again for your round 2 review of the AFL season for the Geelong Cats. It was. I think we played on the weekend. I'm not sure. It was a lot of apparently Buddy Franklin played, but I don't know if the Cats were playing. Anyway, it was all a Buddy show, wasn't it? Pretty much non-stop Buddy the whole weekend, and especially all Friday night. Apparently we did play. We did lose the game, and we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, it was a bit of a horrible game, really. Unless you're a Sydney fan or an AFL fan, I guess generally, and you can appreciate that sort of stuff. But as a Geelong fan, and that's what this show's about. It was pretty hard to watch, the Buddy Mania. Anyway, good on him, I suppose. Going into this game, we had the lingering doubts over Jeremy Cameron and his hip injury. But he fronted up, he played. We had the weather forecast was pretty average too. It was looking like it was going to rain all day, but for the most part, it was not too bad on the night. It was a bit slippery, but I think the rain held away for most of the night anyway. And we got Mitch Duncan and Jed Buse back in the side, which was a bit of an injection. And overall, the side looked pretty good, I thought. So it was good to have a few of those guys back. We had Narkle as the sub, which I'm sure he's not too happy about. But yeah, we had Narkle as the sub, and he didn't get on the ground. No injuries that came out of that game, or at least in play anyway, that caused us to activate the sub for that game. So yeah, in front of a crowd of about 36,000 fans, mostly Swans fans. The Cats didn't get the job done. The Swannies got up by 30 points, 107 to 77. And yes, Buddy kicked his 1,000th goal. We'll get to that. But the first quarter started off really well, even though with Kolodashny kicking that goal. It's a bit of a curse on the Kolodashny thing. Anyway, but he kicked a goal, and then not long after that, we had another goal from Tui, I think it was, thanks to Brad Close, who was awesome on the night. He's constant tackling and pressure acts led to that goal. It was great. And it was really good to see the follow-up from the week before with our fast ball movement. Really confident kicking. It was just like, oh, here we go again. It's a continuation of the week before. But didn't last long, did it? We kicked the first couple of goals, and then it was pretty much Sydney with the next 7 out of 8. So that wasn't too crash hot. Danger, one touch first quarter. I don't know what was going on with Danger. I was pretty pissed off. And we just kept bombing it long to Paddy McCartan to give him a bit of a confidence boost. He took about 5 intercept marks in that first quarter, so that wasn't going too well. Second quarter rolls around, and we had a couple of good things. Radagalea did a nice tackle, which led to them kicking it out in the full, and had a nice goal from Mitch Duncan in his first game back from 50 metres. But then it all went a bit rubbish after that. We had Stengel giving away a 50-metre penalty for just dropping the ball. Blitzarves deliberately hit the ball out of bounds just right next to the point post, which led to a Swans goal. And they kicked, I think, 4 goals in 7 minutes there. It was getting messy. Holmes looked like he'd broken an arm at one point. Could barely stand up. Stewart was fumbling the ball at centre-half back, and the whole night we're all fumbling, but Stewart, there's one moment where Stewart, you normally trust the bloke to be quite solid in those situations, but he was just fumble, and then Swans just swept onto it and kicked a goal because, they didn't miss the whole bloody night. But anyway. And then we had Blitzarves, who looked like he got injured as well, and he had to go off and went into the rooms and got assessed. But thankfully, both him and Holmes were okay in the end, and none of them had to miss out. Or didn't get subbed out of the game, and probably will front up next week unless there's an omission. I can't imagine Blitzarves getting omitted, but Holmes is a young fella, and got Rick Higgins back, don't we? No. Hopefully Holmes will hold his spot there. But Parfitt kicked a nice goal. I think he did a double. He sold Candy twice in the one play and kicked a nice goal on his left. That was great. And yeah, I think there was another dodgy decision from the umpire. Bloody, don't get me started on the umpire. I won't bang on about the umpires too much because it is all about how we played. But yeah, there was a pretty shocking decision against Max Holmes for kicking in Danger, which I thought was ridiculous. And it was just all those little things that were happening for us. Just didn't need to be happening. But unfortunately, yeah, we got that. It was really great. Heaney went nuts. He kicked 4 goals in the first half. Close had kicked a really nice goal. It was a bit of Pele action, a bit of soccer. I think he just stuck the bottom of his foot out or the toe of his foot out and just nudged it through for a goal. That was really good. And he kicked 4 goals on the night. And at that point, when he kicked that goal, it was only 16 points in it. So while we were frustrated with how we were going, as Cats fans watching on or at the game, 16 points in it. We've come back from worse. We're in this still. I'm sitting there and I'm talking to my partner. I'm thinking, what are the odds? There's a minute to go. Like, I'm thinking, what are the odds that Swans are going to kick a goal here? Because it seems like we always let them, at the worst possible times, the opposition score a goal in the last minute. Sure enough, a goal. Okay. Oh, geez, here we go again. But it didn't end there, did it? No, they kicked 2 goals in the last minute. And all of a sudden, we're back out to nearly 5 goals down against the Swans going into halftime. So that was just great. Really good. Really happy with that. Not at all. Third quarter, let's just bring Buddy into the game, give him a free kick in the back. Why not? Because, it's all about Buddy tonight, so let's give him a soft free kick where we can. Instructions from up top at the AFL headquarters, probably. No, just kidding. So that was a goal for Buddy. He didn't miss all night, of course. 4 goals straight. We did get a nice goal out of Atkins from check side from 40 metres. That was pretty good. And what do you know? The last 2 minutes of the third quarter, bang, bang, Swans kicked 2 more goals. So that's just great, isn't it? So I don't know what's going on because a lot of talk in the Essendon game that our boys had really good fitness levels and things like that. But clearly we're running out of steam at the 25-minute mark of quarters in this game and just couldn't be bothered or just didn't have enough in us to keep going with it. So might be a bit of work to do on that and keep an eye on that in future games to see how we travel in those last couple in that red time space. So anyway, we get to the fourth quarter and it's the Buddy show still, and it's all about Buddy. He's on 3 goals. Can he get his fourth? He's kicked 3 goals straight at this point, so clearly he's not going to miss. And there's a bit of a concern when he went off with 13 minutes to go. I think, what's he coming off for? There's only 13 minutes. He's not going to get it here. But yeah, a bit of a spell on the bench for about 4 minutes and then comes back on and there's about 2 security guards on the boundary line in the whole stadium. There's a bit more than that, but clearly nowhere near enough. And they didn't do anything anyway. But yeah, couple of security guards there. And then, here we go. Buddy takes a mark. Yeah, Henry went the opposite direction for some reason. Clearly he was in on it as well. He'd read the script and decided to run the opposite direction to Buddy. And then he takes a mark and then sure enough kicks the goal. A million people spew onto the ground. The rest is history. And Buddy goes into history books as, I think, the 5th or 6th player to kick 1,000 goals in league history. So good on him. I can appreciate that. Clearly, my tone doesn't indicate that, but I'm still annoyed that we lost. So you'll have to forgive me. If you are a neutral supporter or a Geelong supporter that just appreciates football in general, I'm very biased towards the Cats, unfortunately. He got the goal, 36-minute delay. There was a couple of players, Sydney players, that got stranded on the other side of the ground. And actually, they were all trying to get the Sydney players to meet up again in the change rooms, but they couldn't get back through the crowd. So they had to depart the stadium, come back around the other side again before they could join up. So that was quite interesting or funny to sort of see that happen. And probably the only thing that happened really late in the game that's probably worth mentioning is Brad Close kicked his 4th goal. So capped it off. He'll probably get in the Brownlow votes even in a losing side because he stood out so much. And it wasn't just his possessions and his goals; it was his pressure efforts. He was just doing everything. He was our best defender, best forward option going forward. We kicked. I think we kicked 11 goals, 10 goals, and the 2 Coleman medalists kicked 1 between them. So if you're trying to find a positive out of that's a negative clearly in itself. That they had 1 between them, but I guess a positive is that we got 9 goals from some other people in the team, other players. So that's something to, I guess, if you want to try and find a positive, and hopefully we can get the big triple-headed monster back at some point, and Stengel gets his own ball, which he I had a fear that he wouldn't do that because he got some silver service in the Essendon game, but was he going to be able to get his own ball and create his own scoring shots? I didn't see a lot of that, but I'm not gonna. A lot of it's down to the midfield, just not being able to get it to them, and then not being able to defend the other way as well. And the midfield, throw a blanket over 15, 16 blokes in the midfield. That's their role. They were just letting down our forwards and our defenders time and time again through the night. But yeah, we still scored plenty, had plenty of scoring shots, more scoring shots than the Swannies. But, if you're going to convert 37% of those scoring shots into goal, you're not going to win too many games, especially when the opposition pretty much does the complete opposite. And I don't know what their percentage was, around about 66%, probably even higher than that of conversions to goals. But yeah, it's one of those nights, unfortunately, and it seemed to be a bit deja vu from last time around, albeit the score difference was not as close this time around, so it was a bit of a shame. I guess in terms of my thoughts on the game, you can't really go past close. I mean, there's a lot of frustration that come out of it, but that was a big win. He's had a couple of good games in. I don't think he was in my votes the first game against Essendon, but he'd be up there. He had pretty much almost a perfect score out of this game. If you're a Geelong supporter, you couldn't really fault the guy at all, and I'm sure the opposition coaches will vote the same way when they do their votes as well. And the umpires, I'm guessing, too, on Brownlow night, will probably see Close get 1 or 2 votes, if not 3. They'd probably get 3. Heaney will probably get the 3 goals, three votes, sorry, for his 5 goals for the night. He was just pretty dangerous. I mentioned earlier Koladashny kicking the first goal. It was last week. It was the Cameron curse getting injured again. He just can't seem to get a clear run on it. Now it's the Koladashny curse. Every time he kicks a goal, it's always against a Sydney team as well. We lose, so just keep Koladashny well away from the forward line. I don't want him to kick a goal anymore. Stay away from it, mate. You're jinxing us. I don't believe that, but I was really excited to see him get the goal. He's like, okay, he's going to line up for 10 goals this year, but after breaking his drought, but no, it wasn't to be. But yeah, where was Tom Hawkins? Did he play? I don't know what was going on with Tommy. It was the Tommy show leading up to it, wasn't it? Is it Tommy is going to crack the 670 goal mark and the crowd's going to stream onto the ground and we're all going to celebrate and they're going to stop the game for 30 minutes when Tommy gets his 670th goal. But he got the milestone, but unfortunately the crowd just for some reason didn't acknowledge that. But it was kind of almost delayed really. They came on a little bit later and at the wrong time. But yeah, he got that. He got his 1 goal. Cameron didn't hit the scoreboard, but got a bit of the ball, but just looked a bit off, didn't he? Maybe he shouldn't have played, but I guess the whole team was off, so you can't really. It just seemed to be a whole of team sort of attitude or confidence level thing, and you can pick out individuals, I guess, for 4 games, but it just seemed to be a whole of team thing, really. So I didn't get too many goals from those big fellas, but. Hopefully they'll find their form again in the Collingwood game next week. So it didn't look like we had any injuries out of the game. There's always a couple of ones that you just don't see or don't notice, and that they've got a bit sore after the game, and there might be the 1 or 2 players that gets rested out of this. I'm not sure who it might be. Danger just looked well off. I don't know what was going on with Dangerfield. Selwood did his best, but he wasn't having his best game. But Danger just didn't look. He looked a shadow of the player he was in round 1. I don't know what. 1 touch. And I think maybe a handful of touches in the first half, 1 touch in the first quarter. So not sure if something wrong with him or whatever. Stewart, I'll give him a pass because, and I gave him a vote actually, but I'll give him a pass because he had a baby. He didn't have a baby. His partner had a baby during the week, so he was able to still play and all that, but would have been a bit tired, I'd imagine there. It was a bit concerning. Back to the Buddy goal for a second, with all the fans from the stadium running onto the ground, and just a few concerns that a few of the Geelong players raised around the potential for harm. I know there's vision of Tui colliding with a fan. Good on Tui for returning the wallet to the fan, but I think Cameron also had a bit of a collision with someone as well, and just you sort of wonder about those situations if the scores are a little bit closer, or there's we coat hanger some Swans player in the first quarter and the crowd's shitty with that player, and what happens then? Is there retribution from the crowd? Like, it's just a tricky situation there. And thankfully these types of events only happen every 20 years or 15 years or something like that. It's not like, I can't remember the last time it happened, probably when Buddy kicked his the 100th goal, or there might have been another event where this happened, but it doesn't happen that often, so it's nothing to really worry about too much. Look, I don't know. I read after the game that there's potentially a couple of incidents coming out of the game with Callum Mills and Nick Blakey being charged by the match review panel. If it was anything like Draper taken out Radigelli's rib cage in round one. He's probably Nick Blakey will probably get off. And Callum Mills, they'll all get off because it's all going to get lost in the Buddy Bonanza sort of stuff. So, but anyway, that's fine. I don't care. It's a game. We move on from the Swans and we come up against Collingwood next week. So my 3 votes for this week, which I have close. No, 1 vote. No, just kidding. Close 3 votes easily. It was really hard to award the second votes and the 1 vote. But I thought couldn't be a forward because they didn't do much except close, and he's already got votes. Definitely not a midfielder because they were just useless. But I have to give it to the defenders under pressure all night. And so I've given the 2 votes to Blitz Arves. I thought he did his best. He probably was on par with his normal performance, but considering most players were well below par, I've given it to him. And I'll give him 1 vote to Stewart, which might be a bit controversial. I just thought, well, Stewart was pretty clean all night. There was clearly that one really bad fumble that led to a Swans goal that's probably going to stick in a lot of our memories. But for the most part, for the whole night, his disposal efficiency was around that 90% mark, so he wasn't too bad. And he got a bit of contested ball and took a few intercept marks as well. So, yeah, look, ideally in a perfect world, we'd just award the votes to all 6 votes to Brad Close, but it's not how it goes. So, yeah, gave those are my 3 votes. And next week, got Collingwood, so I'm feeling, I guess, a bit nervous about that game, as I am with every game. Collingwood's coming off 2 straight wins. Don't know about their opponent so far. It's hard to know for anyone, really. Like, Melbourne probably the exception, 1 or 2 others. Like, Port lost 2 in a row, have they? They're bottom of the ladder. I don't think they're going to finish bottom of the ladder. They finished second last year. I don't think they're going to end up the year being last on the ladder. But so things are going to change throughout the course of the year. I think it'll be a closer game against Collingwood, and at the MCG, I think that'll suit us a lot more. Just didn't seem to like the confined spaces around the SCG that much. Sydney seemed to have so much room to move, didn't they? Like, they just moved the ball so well. They just had so many uncontested possessions. Kick to kick to kick. There's another Swan player free. What's going on? I just don't understand what's going on there. So I'm going to watch the game watch the few of the highlights a few more times to try and figure that one out. So Collingwood on the Saturday evening, I think 7:30ish or something, or 7:40, something like that. Should be a great game whether you're at the game or at the or watching it at home or at the pub or wherever you consume your football. So that'll be good fun. I'm looking forward to that. I think last time we played them, we got off right out of the gate pretty quick with 5 goals to nothing, and I don't think they scored a goal in the first half, but in typical Geelong fashion, we let them back into the game and won the game by 10 points. So none of us got much out of that game. I think combined score of 120 points or something. It was a pretty horrible game. But anyway, move on. Anyway, that's the review for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. As per normal, like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. Tell your friends about the show. Thanks for chatting and all that on Twitter the last couple of days. It's been a lot of fun. Whether we win or lose, it's always good to chat with you guys and get your thoughts and feedback. We'll see you next time around on The Hoop Show. Cheers. See ya.